The story of TFT is honestly incredible. We're talking about a game that is an incredible success on the video game market, while at the same time this game has little to no competition because everyone else is sleeping on the idea of auto-battlers, and this allows TFT to dish out Ws all around. Even though it is always good to have strong competition that can push you in the right direction. It's just that here, TFT has to do all the motivation themselves. And well, yesterday, after an awesome championship, TFT revealed what's coming in their Set 11. Which is already a follow-up to Set 10, which by many was seen as the best set yet. Because on the competitive side, the flexibility was massive. Though it came at the cost of a lot of the casual players not liking the new headliner mechanic. But you know what? None of that really mattered, because everyone was playing that set for the banger music. And so now, everyone is wondering, how can they beat Set 10? Is it even possible? Well, that's what we are diving into today. So without further ado, let's have a look at what Set 11, called Inkborn Fables, is all about. As should be obvious, Inkborn Fables takes us back to the Eastern themes. This is not our first rodeo there, and you may remember the last time we visited, people did not leave with the best memories. But everything was fixed eventually. So to tell us where we are heading this time, the gameplay designers Blueclove and Sloan dive in. And they immediately start with a whole new mechanic called encounters. Just like every set had something special, this is the staple of Set 11. With the theme being all about meeting mystical beings from legends. The premise is simple. At various points in every game, you will meet random encounters. These are rare events that mix up the course of the entire game. Or at least some of them do, because sometimes it may be just a fun new mechanic, but at other times it literally changes how the game behaves. In many ways, you could compare this to the old mechanic of Set 3. And here we also got some examples for what those encounters could be. For example, when you meet Ilaoi, she just gives you some free rerolls. But on the other hand, you may also meet Set, who doesn't change the gameplay. He just grows and shrinks the tacticians. And that's it. This is clever, because this way you still get something interesting to encounter, but it doesn't change the gameplay and it gives you the normal game of TFT. In contrast, there are also some bigger encounters. For example, Cho'Gath gives you the option to feed him one of the slots in your shop. And when you do that, he gives you a lot of rewards in return. But of course, it is a choice which you can skip and just play with your normal shop. And after that, Riot also revealed a new fishing minigame with Tam Kench, which is hardly a fishing minigame, you really just run around and soak ponds. But then there is perhaps the most impactful one. Kayn. When you meet Kayn, he marks a stage in the future. And when the game gets to that stage, the game immediately ends. With the placements being based on how much health people have at that time. This one is crazy because the moment Kayn shows up, everyone will start burning their gold because they need to keep as much health as possible. So it really just turns the rules of TFT upside down. Not to mention, your games are probably gonna be shorter. And yes, on Twitter we also got some other examples, such as the Bard encounter, which makes all players start at level 3. Now your first thought here may be, this is gonna get frustrating after the first few times you have played these. Is Kayn really gonna cut off every other game? Is TFT turning into a game that is all about pressure now? Well, no, and that's simply because there is 80 different encounters in this set. So for example, the chance to encounter Kayn is literally 1 in 80 games. At least that is if all the encounters have the same chance to appear. I assume that will not be the case. I assume they are going for a tier-based chances. But still, I would not expect a lot of repetition. And if you'd like to get spoiled on all the encounters already, I've seen some sites such as Esports reveal all of the encounters. So if you wanna learn about all of this information is already out there. Speaking of which, this also includes all the new units and all the new traits, which is where the video goes next. Of course, every set gives us a lot of new units and a lot of new traits, but Riot highlighted the best ones. Or rather, the most interesting ones. For example, we got the new Exalted units, which include none. You see, there are no exalted units in this game because the exalted trait is randomly assigned to already existing units in this set. So literally every time you play the game, different units will be exalted, with this trait not only buffing them, but also their adjacent units, which pretty much makes this the most flexible trait of TFT. Next, they highlight the mythic units, which get a stackable buff, and after 4 combats, they become canonical. Don't use this word, it gives me PTSD. Which really just doubles their stats. But this trait also includes the new 5-cost mythic unit, Hui, who has the incredible ability to duplicate a unit on your bench. Getting this one early is gonna be nuts. After which they confirmed that Fortune is returning, which, as far as I remember, is one of the traits that just generates gold, with more gold if you lose. Look, it's been a while and all I remember is Tahm Kench being a really good solo tank. But this time around, Fortune got a lot more special. Because for the first time ever, it allowed TFT to introduce a whole new character into the universe of Runeterra. Even though, remember, this is not a canonical set, but the character is real now. And we are talking about a brand new Yordle tank who can finally get in the front lines, besides Poppy, who up until now was really just the only tank. Sorry, Amumu. And yes, this is a proper new unit built from the ground up. It has a unique model with a brand new skeleton with brand new animations. And this one gets especially cool because it is a 1-cost that scales into late game, because he gets permanent health based on your interest. So now, of course, everyone will start asking, when will he get to League of Legends? Next, they tease the Faded units, which are 2 units that you can bond together to make them stronger. And they even revealed another unique 5-cost, which is Rakan and Xayah, both of which are just a single unit that changes depending on where you place them. If you place them in the backline, it is gonna be Xayah. If you place them in the front line, it is gonna be Rakan. You know, this mechanic is nothing really new. We've had Jace swapping stances in the past, but this time they got an ability that lets them tag in their partner. After which, Riot also highlighted the Story Weavers, which is a trait that summons Scale and lets you design her abilities. With every trait breakpoint, you will give her an ability and new passive abilities. So really, you are making your own champion. After which, Riot wanted to show us one more unique 5-cost. But that one is so special, they had to summon the Engineers to really push TFT beyond. So here we got Anurag and Winston explain what they have done. You see, usually when TFT wants to do something cool, they borrow their tech from League of Legends. But this time, they had to build a tech of their own. And all of that was done to simply make Irelia look cool. They really wanted to give her the ability to dance with her blades, where the dancing wouldn't be just an ability, but it would in fact be her auto attack. So be ready for an AoE auto attack similar to, the Cursed Singed. But now you may be asking, what's the crazy idea about this? Well, you see, League of Legends is known for being quite full of spaghetti. And Riot codes a lot of things using the template of invisible minions. You wanna have an ability that targets the ground where you click? Well, when you click, you spawn an invisible minion and the ability targets that minion. That's actually how a lot of abilities work. And we know that's how it works because in the past there was quite a few bugs that gave you last hits just for casting abilities. So if League wanted to make these flowing daggers, they would have to spawn in random invisible minions, and they would make the daggers follow those minions. The issue with that is that you can't really make a smooth line with this. There would be a lot of sharp turns every time you course correct to the next minion. That is even if you include a lot of easing. So TFT decided to make their own tech using splines. You know, vector lines that can be traced using math. But here's the thing. Pulling out an article by Riot Games from 2015, you can see that League of Legends has already done that. This tech exists. So I assume they had to do something vastly different from the normal splines with easing. In fact, they mentioned that they are using Hermit splines, which use specific targets. In this case, it would be the enemy units. and the game calculates how they can connect all of them using very smooth paths. Which again, is very similar to what the article showed before. So if TFT decided not to use the tech from League of Legends, then goddamn League has to be quite a plate of spaghetti. Anyway, long story short, Irelia has smooth flowing blades. And TFT has a brand new tech that they can use in the future to make TFT even cooler. And yes, they mentioned that this also counts for the new Yordle, which they have built from ground up. And they revealed that this is not the only new thing which they have built. Because after the Yordle, they also made a Loon. That's right, a Loon is another standalone unit that was built from ground up. It is not even using the base of a model that would be from a skin or something. This is just a whole new separate unit. And yes, I am aware there are quite a few people in the League community that are gonna freak out about this. So, why don't we quickly move on? On to cosmetics, which people also freak out about. Which is where Alex, the product manager, comes up. And here we learn about a brand new thing TFT is getting. A rotating shop. At least, a new version of it. You see, coming up in the midset, the rotating shop will offer you seasonal offers, which will require a brand new currency, which you get from passes and missions and stuff. So it's a totally different currency from what we've been getting so far. I don't actually understand why there is another currency. But thank God this currency is earnable for free too. And yes, the rotating shop will not only offer some of the mythic chibis from the past, but it will also offer some of the cosmetics from the past sets which you might have missed. Which means, yes, people can finally get the Space Mole now. Now I'll be honest, I am totally fine with the rotating shop, because the FOMO only gets to a certain level. So it is all standing on a single pillar, that being, how quickly do they rotate it? If you can get a certain chibi once a year, in that case it is heavy FOMO and it is on the same level of some other gacha games. But if the shop rotates like every other week, that is totally fine. But yes, the sad truth is, the system will likely land somewhere in the middle. So I don't think this is that bad, it is still helping people get what they want, but there is always room for improvement. But then the video says something interesting.
With the addition of rotating shop currency, the treasure realms, we're reducing the drop rate of mythic content, but also reducing the price of each treasure realm pull along with it.
See, reducing the drop rate of mythic content can mean two different things. And I noticed that different people think it means different things. Some people think that reducing the drop rate of mythic content means that there will be less chibis, because you can now buy them directly. But others believe that they are really just reducing the chance of the drop in the gacha system. And well, unfortunately, that is really what they are probably doing here. They are likely reducing the drop chance inside the gacha. Because they also mentioned that they are reducing the price as well, and they are giving us a milestone system which gives you more things back directly. So again, it is not a bad thing, the gacha system will be less aggressive, and there won't have to be that much of an investment. Not to mention, finally Riot gave us some control over what we are getting. So right now, all of these new acquisitions sound fine, but we'll see how things turn out in the end. But after that, Maria makes a comeback to give us some new cosmetics. So first of all, as always, there is a new chibi, and this time it is Morgana, who honestly looks great, but she also got the Empress skin, which gives her a whole new finisher with an anime style. But she's not the only one, because we are also getting Spirit Blossom Ari, who honestly has a really good finisher too. It is only a shame the finishers give you a bit of a disadvantage in the game. But chibis are not the only thing we're getting, because there is also Handan, which is your biblically canonical angel. Yes, this one looks like such an awesome nightmare. And of course, because every set gives us one really pricey mythic arena, this time the Gamba gods blessed us with the Heaven's Celestial Court, which honestly looks nuts. It starts as a koi pond with hand-painted style, where I do have one critique. I love the inky outline on all the frogs, but I would give the entire arena edge also the same inky outline to make the entire place look like a painting. Other than that, it looks awesome and it also transforms into a spirity version. Still a shame, this one costs a lot. After which the video gets us to the last part, which is Esports, where Michael Sherman runs us through what's happening there. Yes, in case you didn't know, TFT's Esports is doing decently well. They already ran through a few tournaments of their own, and I can confirm, out of all the competitive games, this is some of the more chill scenes you can find. It really feels like everything is more relaxed because to a certain slight degree, everyone is aware that TFT does have that little bit of RNG. Even though at the pro level, the RNG doesn't do that much. And well, the big news is that after going through several different formats for their regional esports, they are building a new pan-regional model that will allow everyone compete in the same tournaments, because in TFT, lag is not that big of an issue, which is an extremely unique trait for a video game to have. So we'll see how far TFT can go with that model. But unfortunately, that is really it for all the TFT news. I'll be honest, so far this set looks awesome. The new encounters are definitely gonna spice up the game again. And this time it may be a little bit more in the more casual way. Because again, set 10 was awesome, but casuals didn't like it that much because of headliners. Well now, those are gone, and instead we're gonna be frustrated about gain. And all of this really made me realize something. TFT is supporting a lot of different systems going forward. You have augments, you have realms, now you possibly are also adding in encounters. Well, is TFT really transcending the roguelike genre?